Alrighty, it's 7 o'clock on May the 8th, 2017. We'll open up the Jamaica Select Board for the 8th. And the opening gambit, first thing is going to be a call for any additions to the agenda. We have an addition.
I have two.
Okay.
One is I want to discuss the open meeting law regarding inviting a speaker.
Okay.
Number two, I want to discuss some things I saw on the roads,
Where? On the what?
on the road.
On the road?
Okay. Road issues.
Road issues, that's a good way to put it.
All right.
Okay, I have,
You have one?
kind of one too.
1.5.
1.5. We need to review, I have the 3 bids for the new town garage for the well and the septic system. We have to pick one.
The septic system and the well both?
And the well both.
Okay. Alrighty. Anything else? Any other additions?
No, I just have an announcement later on our next meeting. So, if you want to stick
right.
that in someplace.
Somewhere before we adjourn, I'll put it in the house.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so, and I have a question about the net metering project that we were discussing in the last couple of sessions.
Okay, good.
And that, yeah, I read over the contract and it's
That's the solar system?
the solar system, yeah.
So that's an agenda item?
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to it. I just went through this morning and had a couple of emails back and forth with the,
What's
with
it
the
called?
contract. I put down net metering project. We'll add that in there. That's agreeable. All right, any other questions? Then let us move to approve the minutes of, let's do the minutes of the April 27th one. That's gonna be easy. It's the most recent one. You all have them in your book. The only 2 little things I'd like to see if we could change. In the first line, it says Jamaica Arts Council is requesting that the town pay for liability insurance. I believe they requested that we help pay for the liability
I
insurance.
think so.
So we'll just insert the word help in between town and pay. And in the last paragraph, the Arts Council will be responsible for cleaning the town hall after each event as the $50, the word deposit, I think it should be scratched and made $50 rental fee.
Yes.
Mental, okay.
Right.
Okay, since we discussed it as a rental fee, and that's used for cleaning. So we'll scratch the word deposit and then add in rental fee. Anybody else have anything?
I move we accept the amended April 27 minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Oops, I'm not. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will accept that of the April 27th minutes. The next minutes are the minutes for April 24th. I have a couple of corrections, and then you guys can add to them if you'd like. First one is, I think the spelling, we had a name that was misspelled. The last one in public attendance, it would have Eleanor Katz was the last person.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I think also Eleanor should be Elinor.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
right.
sorry, yeah, Eleanor. Mhm.
How did you spell that again?
Elinor.
Okay.
Down in paragraph number 5, it's a technicality, but it's something we all live with. The town, approve updated town emergency plan, the LEOP, motion to approve.
Okay.
It's mild, we all accepted it, but because of the reading in the law, we have to approve. You all have to approve my work doing the LEOP. And I think that's approved. We'll just change that accepted to approved. Then, in the 8th paragraph, the last sentence, there were many questions from all board members and they set an emergency meeting to discuss what can be done. That should have been a special meeting. I honestly don't remember if we used the word emergency.
I made a mistake, it was my fault.
Was it your fault?
I think so.
Where is that again in 8?
This, on number 8, the last line.
Oh,
That was a special, and that same change on the second page, the first paragraph, change emergency to special. And there's some other little technical things, but I think, anybody else have any other questions? Anything you'd like to see changed?
I think it's
Amended motion?
grammatical, but I don't know if you want to change it. Think on this should be think about this, not on this.
I didn't even notice that.
That is on number 6. Halfway down.
Right, well, Leslie Clark said she'd like to have more time to think about this.
Yeah.
If you want, we can mix that about.
And just as each motion was made and seconded, we just have to say whether we approved it or not.
Correct. That's correct. So we had a motion to enter the executive session, seconded by Judy. So that's the second to the last paragraph we have to already approve.
Okay.
I mean, passed, the motion passed. Sorry about that, I'm making mistakes. Please repeat.
And then we don't, when we go into executive session, the regular select board meeting doesn't end there. We just enter into executive session, the time, and not until after we come out of it that the actual select board meeting does adjourn.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Yeah.
So that's gonna be taken out.
Taken
too?
out, yes. Yeah.
And what was the one that needs to be approved, the word approved?
After the, where it says Joe Blooming motion for an executive session,
Yeah.
that was seconded by Judy, and that was passed. That motion was passed.
And also number 2 had a motion too.
Number two. Yes.
And 5.
Right, and
And
five.
5.
Yeah, and 5.
4, 2, 4, 5.
So every time it says a second, it needs to say approved or passed.
Yes.
Passed. Or
Either-
or if it hasn't.
Or if it doesn't pass, yeah, if it passes, yes.
Yeah.
But it has to say one or the other, passed or, okay.
And that's for future, so we'll know
Yeah.
what happened to it, the outcome of it. Thank you.
We had a conversation earlier, and I'm thinking, for your first meeting, your first select board meeting, and your first shot at minutes, you did a pretty good job.
That was a complicated meeting.
Yes, and it wasn't an easy one to start on. We'll try to make this one easier.
This should be.
You don't, what else?
Who knows?
We never know.
All righty, so then I will
Easy
accept a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the April 24th with the corrections.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, motion is passed. Minutes are approved. Number 3, approve timesheets for town office, solicitors, highway, and transfer station. We'll do those at the end of the session, as is our norm. Signing select board orders, number 4, we'll do the same thing. We have a very brief report from the fire department. As of the 4th, and I was out of town for part of the weekend, so I could be a little bit behind, but as of the 4th, we had 56 calls.
And that's all we've had so far.
That's all?
That's all.
Cross your fingers. We've increased training for local and regional. Fire department's going regional for the training as well. In fact, tomorrow night we're going to be in, where are we going to be tomorrow night? Dummerston? Not Dummerston.
I don't know. That's fire department, I'm not fire department.
We're going someplace to do wildland training. We'd like to remind everybody that it is illegal to burn without a permit. So please get your permits before you do anything. Now, the fire pit is okay in our area, except you cannot burn any garbage. So even if you get a permit for a fire, you still cannot burn garbage.
Or in a barrel. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, or in a barrel.
As a health officer, if you're burning your garbage in a barrel, you can be ticketed. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's against the law in Vermont.
What do you mean by barrel?
A
A
barrel.
burn barrel.
Or a barrel?
Metal barrel?
Yeah.
And whatever you're burning garbage in. you're
Oh,
not
garbage,
supposed to-
right.
Yeah, no garbage.
And no paper.
No painted wood.
Why not paper?
If you got any questions about that,
I think
you
you
can call
know
the
that
health
already.
officer.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know you can't burn garbage and trash.
Did anybody else hear about not burning paper?
You can't burn paper.
You can or cannot?
No,
No,
You can't?
no.
I did not know that. Okay.
Or painted wood or pressure-treated wood?
That's true because of the chemical, yeah.
right, I mean, that's always been in existence anyway, so we knew that.
We went to a call a couple weeks ago, sometime in the past 2 weeks, and the Vermont State Police noticed a burned spot in the yard of one of the places we went, and pointed it out to the fire chief, and said that those kinds of things they notice. So, please keep that in mind, especially as we go into eventually summertime, and the fire season gets a little bit more dangerous than it is tonight. Number 6, presentation by the property owners regarding naming the road and the possibility of the town taking ownership. This is left over from last session, when the people who planned on being here didn't show.
Were they
And I
supposed to
didn't hear
show
from them.
again today? I
What's
think
that?
we ought to just wait until they call.
I'm gonna take it off the agenda until I hear back from them.
Right.
Yeah, because I haven't heard from them since they didn't come. So we're going to, instead of just passing until the following weekend,
So-
we're going to cancel it.
Okay.
Okay, time for public concerns. Absent the public, we'll jump right into our additions to the agenda. The first one is going to be relatively quick, I think. I have a copy of the group net metering agreement. Remember the gentleman from the Green Lantern Development people? And he sent me a copy of their the agreements and lots of other stuff. I've looked this over. Now, the question for tonight is there a sufficient interest from the board to warrant paying for our attorney to look this over? Is this something that makes sense for us to send this to him and for him to take the time to look it all over? Or is there no interest in the board at all in this particular net metering project?
Do you, are we, sorry,
I-
Go ahead.
are we going to, did he say how much we would save by having,
I can't recall what he said.
Well, what he said is, where's the number here? I read this several times.
because you
it's
said,
Pretty much green. 13,
streetlights don't take,
correct, street lights are not included.
okay.
Yep. Somewhere in here, I want to say $1,300 to $1,500 a year, but I can't put my finger on it right now.
Well,
I think it was 13 something, wasn't it?
Yes, it was 13 something.
Yeah. What he does say, and what I can put my finger on, is, here it is. The expected payment, monthly payment. Let's see. I could put my finger on it. Earlier.
You would give monthly payment to us or our monthly payment to them?
Monthly payment to them, there it is. $787.50
We have to pay them?
That's the initial estimated monthly service price for this program. It's computed at being 87.5% of what numbers Terry gave them to work on. This approximately 87% of what we're paying now is 787. Hard numbers are not in this contract right now because this is just a draft and they're working on it. But we'll get hard numbers from Terry, but he did give us, he said before, if we think that 87 is too close to, understand that this is a prediction on how much energy we're going to use. With the new garage expecting to be a significant energy saver and an already installation of the new electrical lights and substantial savings so far, I believe Terry said. We may not want to go this close. 87 may be too close. We may want to drop back to 80% so that we don't incur a debt higher than we're going to be able to offset, if that makes sense. I apologize, I read this and I would never, ever presume to be able to explain it. I think those are the pieces that ring a bell. So the question now is whether we send this package to our attorney, and if this is interesting to us, then we should do that, have him review it. If not, this is something that we're not interested in, we can save the attorney's fees.
So I'm a little confused. We have to pay them X amount of dollars a month
Yes,
to be on this.
yes.
And our total monthly bill is about $1,000 for electricity. That includes the streetlights too.
It does? I didn't think it included the streetlights.
Included the streetlights.
Okay, then we gotta recompute that, because I thought the
So
streetlights were out of it.
it's,
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna benefit. If
especially.
we're gonna have to pay them, we have to pay, how, I
Yeah.
guess I don't understand how we're gonna make out on this deal.
Yeah.
The theory, and I understand that I'm talking stuff way over the stuff I comprehend.
Yeah.
My understanding is that we'll be paying approximately, the 787 is computed at 80 or 87% of what we would be paying anyway, so we've therefore reduced
So we wouldn't be paying the $1,000, we'd be paying
that.
that instead of the $1,000.
That's
So
my
it'd be like,
understanding. That's my understanding. I would love for someone who knows better to review
I know,
that.
$300 a month savings.
And what happens if, when Green Mountain Power goes up? Does that stay?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
What
Just
happens-
put in
what
for a
was the
huge
question?
increase.
If Green Mountain Power increased the rates,
They just asked for a big one.
yeah. I know that there's a requirement in here that, in the contract, that we maintain our contract with Green Mountain Power. We have to maintain that, but that makes sense anyhow, because that's gonna be the extra that we're not covered by.
If I'm hearing that because the new building going in, that at some level our electricity will be going down
At the garage, right?
from the garage. And so if this is on 87% of what we're paying now,
Could be
that's
less, yeah.
really not a likely number that it
Right.
would be the same. It would even be less than
80.
80, right?
And that's why he was suggesting we maybe wanna shoot for 80% instead.
Uh-huh.
But again,
But we don't know.
we're guessing,
Yeah, we are
we're
guessing,
just guessing.
exactly.
So,
When do we have to make a decision?
that's the tough part. He's obviously pitching this to other counties and other towns and other businesses. He's got, in the package he sent me, which you guys, I can send all this stuff to you guys, it's an email that he sent me.
That'd be great.
He made one of this, it's a lot of stuff. He sends a listing of all the agencies that are already operating, everything from Brattleboro Development, Corporate Development, Bunkers Notch, Spalding High School, Linden State College, Green Mountain College, I mean, all across the country, or the state rather. There's a lot of people already doing this, and it shows how much they're getting, the size, the location, and the off-takers, Mount Snow, and that's in development.
I'm sure a few more days won't.
I don't think so. I think he's been very, very nice. This guy's been very cooperative, and so I can ask him some more. And he said, if you have any more questions, that I can send them to him and he would
Because
let.
I haven't read that, if you could maybe email it to everybody and make copies for
Tonight,
everybody.
yeah, tomorrow, there we go.
Yeah.
What, the lawyer doesn't have anything to do with.
Well, he can read it to make sure
He can
that,
read the contract.
He's just reading the
He's just
legality,
reading
but he
it,
can't
right.
make a decision
No,
based
no,
on
no,
its usefulness.
That's correct.
So I think we should know if
The
it's
ad-
useful to us before we invest in it.
well, yes,
That's what
I
I'm
think.
asking tonight.
Yeah,
I think
Exactly.
we ought to, each one of us get a copy of that.
All right.
Read it,
Sure.
and we can send it to Attorney
Well, I'll tell you
Gillis.
what, I'll send it out tomorrow morning. You guys get a chance to look at it. Give me your responses by Thursday, and then Thursday afternoon, I'll send it to him.
So the question right now
To
is,
this guy.
Yeah.
do we send it or do we not send it to Paul Gillis?
Wait
Is that
till
correct?
Thursday?
Wait till we look it over.
Wait till everybody has a
We all
chance
look
to
it
weigh in.
over, and
Gotcha.
then,
Yeah, because that's exactly the question tonight. Is there enough interest to pay the lawyers?
Right.
Nothing personal, but really, and we were trying to, you know.
So we should decide if we want to do it before we decide if the contract is legal.
Exactly. Having said that, the last time we did this, we were all sort of enamored of the thing. It looked like a good idea. And then when the lawyer looked at the contract, we all realized there was a lot we didn't know.
Yeah.
We know more than we did. And that review of the contract really tilted us a bit.
That was the one with Wyndham Solid Waste.
Yeah, because it was a different setup. Just to be clear about the difference in this one, when Wyndham Solid Waste, they had their project, then they had this tub group that bought it. And then the people who bought it, for example, us, if we couldn't use it all, we had to go find another outtaker someplace. This
and
project,
that's what this company.
we become the other outtaker. Because there's another group that already had it. They sold it to this group. This group is now farming out extra stuff, and we become the third I hope that makes sense. I hope it's close to right, but that's what
I think that's what he said.
Not that it matters, but that project, the Brattleboro one,
Yeah,
they sold everything.
Do they?
huh,
There's nobody
Having said that,
extra having to sell off. And
uh-huh.
and our question was answered that night about the solar adder, remember? Did you asked the question, or is that something that Paul will address?
probably, I'm not sure exactly how that worked in. Oh,
Got answered.
they got answered, but I was confused by the question. So it must have come from
Well,
somebody.
we
who
had
knows.
the past select board member in
Yeah,
gallery, and he,
he brought up a good question. Yeah,
You can always
well,
give
he
him a call
went
to ask
along with the
again.
answer.
yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, we are, Lou has, aren't deep in these things and knew an awful lot more
Yes,
about
he
this.
does.
than anything. Having said that, I do notice that, speaking of Brattleboro Development Credit Corp is involved with this, it's operating. Brattleboro Memorial Hospital is doing it twice, there's another name down there. So even the people in Brattleboro are finding this particular thing useful.
If we go back to 80% and we end up saving 10%, isn't it worth it if the contract is okay?
Mhm.
And why don't we just get a copy and look at it? If it
I'll send all
makes
this to
any
you.
sense,
Yeah,
I'll look at it
yeah,
anyway.
and in the back,
but
adjust the
I
numbers.
understand it.
Well, exactly, and in the back,
Oh,
adjust the
okay.
numbers,
Right.
and that'll give you a rough idea what's going on.
No more with politics.
And when you get this stuff, by the way, there's a lot on the red
It
that
won't
needs
be
to
that
change. So that's just stuff that's removed and just these changes, because again, this is the draft. Okay, so the plan then is I will send this out tomorrow morning, and you guys will send me your input by the end of Thursday, and I will send it on to him.
Whether we call Gillis or not.
Right.
Yeah. Did that make sense? Because I'm gonna forget what I said. Sorry about that. All right. Give me 1 second.
Now, for the minute taker, that's just information, or we don't have to make a motion and do
No.
that kind of thing?
No, but-
It's just information going into the,
Into the minutes, but it is, I'm promising to do something. With this item, I'm going to act this way, and we're going to act this way as a group.
okay,
So it's good to have that part down, to show,
But there's no
show our
motion.
action.
for her benefit.
Yeah.
just-
Right.
Okay, number 2, let's see, who are the quickest ones? Number 2, let's go to the garage, septic, and well.
Okay, I have, our bids are under $10,000, so we didn't have to put it in the paper or anything, but we had to get 3 bids. And we contacted 4 for the well, and we got 3 back. And they're all, let's see, we have one from Green Mountain Well, and this is just an estimate, that's $5,000. And they're all basically the same. I had Beck Engineering look it over, and they're basically all the same, but some are a little more. Frost is between 7,200 and 7,700. And line well drilling is 71, 78. And those are just estimates depending on how far you have to drill down, how much casing you have to use. Looking over, it looks like Green Mountain is the $5,000 is the best.
So those-
Even if they had to go a little further to drill, we'd still be better off with them.
What was the name of the last company you said?
Okay, one was
I have the Green Mountain Well and Frost.
in front, Lynn,
Lynde.
Lynde.
And they ended up doing
And
their town
the-
hall.
Yeah,
Same
they did our
Whatever.
town
Town hall, right.
And their amount was,
I'll give it to you in a minute, okay?
Okay, so you think we should go ahead and give the bid
I
for the
would,
well to Green Mountain?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the Green Mountain Well bid of $5,000.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
Am I misreading something here? Here it says
I'll second it so we can discuss it.
Thank you. Good. Got the second, now we have time for discussion, yes.
220 feet on Lind well drilling, and Green Mountain says 90 feet.
Right, if you look on the back of Green Mountain, that, the extra page, they gave you some samples of how they're basing it on that, but they may have to go further. It's a tricky thing.
Yeah, it is. We had the same thing with mine.
Right,
Now, we have experience with Green Mountain.
With
We've had
line.
them,
we've had, I don't know if we've had them in the past or not. The only newest well we had done was the town hall.
well, not septic. Didn't
This
you
is
say?
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did the well.
They did the
not
well.
do septic.
Not line,
Green Mountain did the
no,
well.
Oh,
no, line.
Line did the
Did
well.
the well.
Yes.
And part of the reason they did the well is they had a four-wheel drive truck.
Right, that could go up.
Well,
Yes,
well,
that was the main reason,
Yeah.
actually.
They could access the site.
Yeah. Where that's not a problem.
No,
Pretty flat there,
it's flat.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, this is a significant difference in cost, isn't it?
Right, I haven't really looked those, I should have looked at those. But
You can look at them, can you?
I would,
I mean, I read them over carefully and,
The one thing I'm concerned about is the depth and the 90 versus 200 and some.
Right. That's what I
That's
saw.
my one concern.
Yeah.
since they'll go up to 200 feet, Green Mountain.
they could, yes.
At the same price?
And then,
No, it won't be the same price. It will be,
$12 a foot,
the case, it was at $12 a foot.
$12 is what
Right.
it
15
Should-
after 200 feet.
Should we multiply that out if we do it? 90 versus 200? With an extra, what will that cost additionally?
Green Mountain?
Yeah, if they do have to
If
go
they have to
from
go-
90 to 200 at $12. Should we multiply that out?
I should have figured that one out, I'm sorry.
Isn't there a variable also depending on what they hit when they get
Right,
down?
if they hit ledge, then they don't
If they
have
hit
to have
ledge.
casing, you're right,
Yeah.
yeah,
They may hit water sooner. They would think they're going to, for
right.
some reason. And these two were like really close,
Yeah.
77 and 71.
Yeah.
You know, in the best interests of the town, it's kind of like, I would probably go along with the lowest bid, but these guys could go up over their bid too. Right?
Right, either
Well,
one,
they're
they
all
all can,
estimates,
they're all
yeah.
estimates,
Yeah.
basically, right.
Yeah.
For water.
The only concern I have is the 90. No.
Well, the 90 is relating to the casing, not the drilling. So they're drilling up to 200 feet, the casing's up to 90 feet.
Oh, okay.
So they're hoping to hit ledge
Ledge.
At that
something.
point,
at
at
that point, I
90.
think.
And are the other two organizations are hoping to hit that at 92 also?
I know that they
They're
said,
Okay.
saying
Upset
245 on the line is 245 feet estimated depth. And then frost between 250 and 300 feet.
and they're saying beyond, it's $12 a foot beyond 200 feet.
Right, which would still bring us
Oh, I
under
see.
these prices.
Yeah, even at $12 a foot times another 100 feet.
Yeah.
How well do we know these three companies?
They're both very reputable, according to Beck Engineering.
They're both.
I mean,
There's
three of
three
them.
of them.
I'm
They're all
sorry, the
three.
three of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Well, it's usually, well, since I've been on the board, we usually go with the lowest estimate on something like this.
As long as they're both reputable, it was some.
Yeah, unless
I
it's
you wouldn't-
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of Frost since I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
The well drilling company.
And we had Lynn do a job.
Right.
We were
I
satisfied
like
with
Lynn.
them.
Yeah.
Because I know they did a good job
Yeah,
there.
they
but
did do a very good job.
Like Alexa said, they're all reputable.
They're all very reputable,
Yeah.
and Beck has worked with each one of them.
You did talk to Beck about
I
these
did.
guys,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, I
she's
did.
talked to the engineer about it.
I
did.
I agree that the reason why we had to go with Lynn was because of
Access.
the access. So, you know, but I agree with Andy, they did do a very good job, so I,
Right, I've got All three companies are reputable, and we would be confident that any one of them would do a good job.
And that's from Beck.
And that's from them,
So the only variable is gonna be the price, and it's not gonna be the price until they do it.
until they do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
I move we go with Green Mountain Well Incorporated for the estimate of $5,000.
Do we have that motion?
I had the motion.
You have the second.
You had the second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the Green Mountain estimate, say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Staying.
Passes. We have 3 yeses and an abstain. Okay,
Who wants these?
and that's on the well.
I need those
Yeah,
here,
that's good.
because I have to contact them. And the next is for the septic system. We have 3. We asked for 4, but we have 3, and I can't remember who the 4th one was. We received one from Larry Brown for $5,760. Amidon Construction for $3,000. And
what was that again?
Amidon.
Which one?
Abbott?
Amidon.
Oh,
Wesley
Abbott.
Amidon.
Gotcha.
And from Raymond Smith, $39.50.
Could you repeat the three numbers?
Sure. Larry Brown, 5760. Wesley Amidon, 3,000. And Raymond Smith, 3950.
Is this also an estimate?
These are quotes, yes. These are
So-
estates.
So these could change when
Um,
they get bigger. Not as much as.
They could not that much because they have looked over,
They know how far down they're going.
Right.
yeah, they know exact,
And they
that,
know the location and this tree removal.
and that includes the $1,000 gallon tank. And there's an oak tree that has to come down, they know that has to come down. They followed Beck Engineering's report, and they know exactly what has to be done.
And they're all reputable.
And they're all reputable, so I make a motion that we go with Amidon Construction.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
I beat you to it.
Is it fine?
Wait a minute.
I guess
Depends on who she
I guess
is.
we know where we're going with
Yeah.
this.
Any further discussion?
They all have to follow the engineer plan.
That's
Yes.
correct, and they all received a copy of the engineering plans before they submitted their,
There's something about excavating on the one we're going, maybe going with eminence, that it's included.
Mm-hmm. I
Why
think
does
they
that
all,
say?
they all have to do
that
that.
may just be his
Right.
code word for doing the excavation of
Okay.
the job. It's his
Right, I
building.
mean, he has to dig, wouldn't that be excluded?
It's got excavator.
Right.
All in favor? Any opposed? Passed unanimously, and I would like to thank Lexa. She did a lot of work on these bids, coordinating with the engineers, with the construction people, and with the treasurer. Thank you, Lexa.
You're welcome.
What?
You're welcome.
Okay. Next item. Joel, you said you have an open meeting law regarding speaker. Something to bring up.
Okay, so when we brought this up last time, the board wanted to see if we could get any other towns to go along with this. And I only spoke to Townsend and Woodsboro. Woodsboro was not interested. But Townsend is interested, and they'd be willing to share the cost with us, but they haven't approved it yet. And I think they're waiting to see if we approve it. So what I would like to do is approve it based on their accepting it, and if they don't, then we can discuss it again.
Can I ask a question? Was it you or somebody told me that, somehow I got word that the woman, somebody in VLCT was already planning this?
No, she gave me a tentative date just to get in the schedule, but I said that would most likely not be the date.
Perhaps that was a little early.
She told me. I called them about something else, and she
Right.
said that she's gonna be giving a presentation on the open meeting law, that we had to decide a date tonight.
No, I never made a commitment to do anything. I just set up the arrangements and the conversation.
And she did say Wardsboro was, I thought she said Wardsboro was in on it too, but.
No,
I called about-
I went to the town offices and I spoke to Jackie and did not speak to anyone on the select board.
It just came up in conversation, I was asking her about something else.
You were asking the woman at VLCT.
VLCT, right?
Well, she knows that I brought up the conversation and I have an email, and she gave me a tentative date, and then they couldn't make that date, and I said, well, this is not confirmed, the board has to vote on it.
No, she said that we had to vote on
She said,
it. We need to decide a date.
yeah, we need to decide to do it and to have a date. Right.
Well, in any case, we haven't decided to do it. There's been some discussion about it. Any other thoughts on, do we want to do this? Well,
I had
I'm
these,
sorry.
I had these printed up. These are the quick guide to the Vermont open meeting law. I'm gonna keep one in my book, just so I can reference it. But I've gone on the VLCT site, and, you know, I go to the presentation, but it's pretty deep, and there's no way that she's gonna cover all of that. That's in there, but it's all accessible to anyone. I asked her if I could download some of this stuff and make it, like even this piece here, could we, post it or make it, put it on our website? And she said she wished we wouldn't because it's probably copyright for VLCT,
But
but
it's not only what's in print, it's also kind of nuanced. There are details that need explanation.
I think if we have questions or anybody has questions about the open meeting law, you can call VLTC and they will answer all the questions that's needed.
Yeah, they are very good about
They're
that.
helpful for that, because right now we don't have, we don't have any, money in the budget for this. We have to wait until our next,
well, it would
Well-
be split 3 ways, or 2 ways.
2 ways. It's 200 and some odd dollars, as opposed to going there and then as individuals. And I would certainly go as an individual and take the course.
Your thoughts, Judy?
I really think, contrary to my colleague, that we can find things out when we need to find things out.
But we haven't.
Yes,
They have-
we
They
do,
have come up in meetings and there have been
and we do.
things that we don't know and didn't know.
Uh-huh.
And we don't have the information when we need it. So yes, you could go home and call them and find out and look online.
Mhm.
But that would be one instance of one thing, and other times, we wouldn't have the information when we're making decisions.
I still hold on to my concern about it, and I find VLCT very, very cooperative with us. As a matter of fact, I was on the phone today about another situation, and right away. So I think that it would be, for the things that we do know, and when a question comes up, to give them a call. That's what they're there for.
we pay them about $1,500 a year.
We had a meeting here where the whole planning commission said they would like to go, and we had a meeting where the Arts Council said they would like to go. So this is, as the governance of this town, we have kind of a responsibility to the town to have these things available for
And they
people who are serving
they
the
can
town.
certainly do that on their own.
They
they
can
have
do
a
something
budget.
on their own.
They have a budget too, just like we do.
Well, I think that, I'm going to take a course, so.
Okay.
One of the things that I've observed over the times that I've been on here is that we've collectively gotten smarter with each episode. And after several years, we've really discussed and argued an awful lot of things and learned quite a bit about this. This is new to you, understanding.
We've
right?
had instances
But if
in
something-
our meetings
Yeah,
where you didn't know.
when we've
Where
learned.
nobody here had known
We've
the
learned.
answer to that question.
But we ask.
But we come back and we just don't blow the people off.
Yeah.
We go and we check it out, like anything, if somebody asks a question, I will get back to you. I don't know they have the answer right now, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we can get the answers.
Right.
I mean, the course is probably, what, $90 or something like that?
I don't even know what the course is.
They're not that expensive,
No,
one
but
person
it
to
means
go.
traveling somewhere.
It does, but we do, as she's spent, we already give them $1,500 a year anyway. And I think we're using
That
them.
doesn't really have a lot to
Pretty
do
well.
with this particular issue.
No, I think it is available if somebody wants to go to the course and take it if you're really interested in taking it. And it's on the website. If people have questions, they can look, everything is available that we need. But you're more than welcome, anybody's more than welcome to go on the select board, or if they want to pay for their own, they can go to it too. To go to the meeting, it's only in Montpelier, I believe.
So it's in Montpelier, so if you go to the meeting and you spend somewhere between $60 and $90, I don't know what the course costs, and then I would choose to stay there, wouldn't I?
That would be your choice.
Yeah,
It
because
would be my choice.
Right.
I don't, you told me last time,
Yeah.
that's irrelevant.
I think we're deviating a bit from the mission here. The question is.
So we have
do you
another
a motion
town,
for us?
I'll make a motion that we join with Townsend, we sponsor it here and share with Townsend, inviting a speaker who is an attorney from Vermont League of Cities and Towns.
Did you check with
to
Newton?
do and I would check with other people too, if we could, I would. To invite the town and anybody who's interested to have a speaker from them. This is getting to be a very complicated motion.
Is there a way to make this something,
We can probably narrow it down.
let's narrow it down
Think
to,
of it.
do we want to
So
sponsor this?
I make a motion to sponsor this, and with the possibility of Townsend sharing the expense and perhaps other towns, that we have a speaker set up to deliver the information that they have about the open meeting law.
That didn't shorten it much.
Not much.
Not much, no.
No, well, when I'm here a year, I'll know how to shorten it better.
And you'll know more about the open meeting law. It's a matter of time and.
I'll
If we
also,
could get,
I'll also know what I don't know.
so Townsend definitely wants to. do
That motion's on the floor.
Yeah, we're
No
still.
I'm
second.
sorry.
We're on the motion we
We
have
can't talk
is,
about that if it's not seconded.
Correct.
I have to interrupt
could
the
we
chair.
have her read it back?
well, that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if we can
It
clarify.
has to be seconded before it's read back.
Huh? Before the motion's read back, we can't second it until we know what the motion is. I don't think. Can you read what you have in the motion?
Well, I have Joe motions to bring a speaker from VLCT to discuss,
Well, I would change that to present
the
their
open meeting,
course on the open meeting,
and you would sponsor it here, and you'd ask Townsend and other towns to come
to share in it.
to share.
Oh my God.
Share in the cost, yeah.
With that motion, do I have a second? Hearing none, the motion does not go forth. Moving on. Your next question was the road issue.
Yes. I went up with some of the roads with somebody, and then today I went again to look at some of the roads, and I went up West Hill Road, and I went up Pikes Falls Road. West Hill Road has one specific hazard there, which is no header on a culvert, so that the damage is starting to extend into a road that's not well lit. So a car could easily go into that. And also places where there is no trenching or ditching, where there's water on the road. And I just wonder if that road is being, and I also found I don't remember exactly where it was, but I think it was on West Jamaica Road, another culvert that's headed was broken. And I was just wondering if that's being looked at by the road crew.
I haven't had any complaints yet, nobody's complained to me.
Well,
I have to get a complaint or a request.
Well, I'm mentioning it.
So if you could write down exactly where they are and stuff like that,
I'll do
I will
that.
make sure that our road crew, and whoever, I know somebody else complains about it. If that person would contact me, which I know he won't, but that's what you're supposed to do. I'm the road
Well,
commissioner. You
I'm
I know you are,
contacting
but I'm just saying something.
Okay.
You write it down, write the areas where they are exactly, and bring it to me, or email it to me, or whatever, and then I will take it to the road foreman, and they will look at it. But that's how it's presented.
Fine.
And the person that is complaining about the roads and everything we do, he knows that because he was a select person.
Well, I appreciate that you pass the information on, and in the, not defense of the road crew, but the ditching is an ongoing thing. I don't know about the culvert thing, but when one of our guys had an accident, the ditching kinda they were down to 2 guys for a while, so they might be behind on that. But-
But they have a schedule, so. I
They
just
do
Yeah,
wanna
they've
know-
been trying to
They
catch
do
I
us
just
have
with
wanna know
schedule.
that this is on the schedule.
with that new piece of equipment, they,
It is on their schedule.
Yeah,
They
it's
do have a
taken a
schedule
while
of
to
what
get-
roads they're doing, and, but I will,
yeah, but it got slowed down a little bit with Donnie down. The ditching did, because he was doing it.
if you could just email me the areas
Okay,
and the complaints, I'd appreciate it, and I'll take care of it.
That will work.
okay.
Good.
I have another, this isn't about the road, but doing the roads, I passed this house that I understand Jamaica owns now. It's over the second bridge, it's a blue house that was.
It was in the flood, it was given,
Right.
You're
right,
talking about
the Vicky house.
the Vicky house on the right-hand side?
He would
corner?
know.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
blue-gray house,
Yeah, they gave it to us.
Yeah.
right.
Gave it to the town.
That could be considered an attractive nuisance.
I know, we have been trying to get, I called a couple times, and I don't know what happened, have Catamount, it has to be checked for any asbestos or any hazardous material, and I will give them a call again tomorrow. I've called them a few times, because they've done other work for us, and I don't know if that just happens to get missed, and in order to have a contractor come and take it apart, we have to say that there's no hazardous material there.
Right.
Or if there is, then they have to know about it so they can take it to the right place.
Right.
But it has been, I've been working on it for quite some time, and it just gets kind of on the back burner.
I stopped and looked at that a while back. Figuring it would be full of beer bottles and everything, but it didn't seem to be.
I don't think we could even go into it, but.
No, you don't want to go in it.
You don't want to, but we've been in it.
I mean, yeah, I went in and looked,
Yeah.
just to see how bad it was. But I remember you inquiring about that.
Twice.
We had to do it with what was left of one of the flood houses,
Mhm.
Yeah,
the back bedroom stayed, and the guy came and wasn't there very long. Remember that morning? He
Right.
said there was no asbestos, no lead, and we could,
So
Contract to
what's
knock
the
it
next,
down.
what's the next step for that?
Well, what I'll do is I'll contact Catamount again tomorrow.
Would you like me to do that?
No, I'll take care of it. That's my job. And, because I started it, thank you very much. And see when they can get to it. And I don't know what happened in between, but I've contacted them twice, can even ask Terry.
I think there's a limited number of people who do this sort of work.
yeah,
He's-
there's not real big money in it.
Yeah.
You're right.
But they got a bunch of them to do, they'll.
But I'll
start.
contact him tomorrow and see if there's something he can do quickly. We would like to get it done. I'd like to get it done before.
Perhaps we should mark it as a hazard?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Is there no trespass on it?
Yes.
Is
We had
it-
tape on it for a while. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
it's
don't
still there or
know.
not. We could put some more tape up.
I don't know.
There are legal ramifications of marking it as a hazard.
But we'll take
But
care
aren't
of it.
there legal ramifications of not?
Oddly enough, it's very strange, but there are lawyers who will tell you that because we're talking about real estate and we're talking about contracts that are coming up, we'll have to have this conversation some other
yeah,
time.
an executive session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, suffice to say, we've been working this problem since the day after Irene. And
So
pretty much
like
all
5
this.
years.
And it just seems to,
Well, no, several days before you get to it to find out what's
and I
wrong.
think after I call and then
Yeah.
they don't come up and then I forget, because it's not a road I'm on all the time. If I went by it all the
Yeah.
time, I probably would.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right, right.
I drive that pretty often.
So it's not something that I'm doing deliberately, it's just.
I never meant to apply that.
No, then we would, well, I'm out of order if I say what comes next, but.
But I will take
Someone
care of
will
that and
get
see
it.
if I'll push him along, try.
What
We
road
are
is on it?
very cognizant and we have been working the issue. I noticed after I called for public concerns, an actual public came in. And since we had finished the other agenda items, do you have a concern you'd like to share with us as a public person?
I do have one small thing, and maybe two. if you-
3 or 4.
It is regarding the planning commission, the town plan. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the water and wastewater section of the town plan, one of our priorities for action, this is on page 57 of our current town plan, says, explore the possibility of creating a public restroom within Jamaica Village. And I was, as I'm thinking about these things, I was wondering if the library could be used as a public restroom, and since it's under construction, I guess I just wanted to ask for your opinion about that idea, that maybe while they're doing construction anyway, maybe there could be a door with a lock that could lock off the rest of the library and just have access to the bathroom to be used as a public restroom for maybe during the farmer's market or during town events, or just an idea that
I think the bathroom's gonna be, I'm not sure exactly where it's gonna be,
Yeah,
if it's gonna be in the same place where it was in the back. Is that where it's gonna be, do you know? Or it
I
is?
think it's on the left side there. I know there's an entrance, that
You
second entrance.
You go in the first entrance, it's gonna be in the second entrance, where the handicap is?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if they were still gonna put it where the old one was.
I don't know.
And if they are, then you really can't, there's no back door for that one. But we'd have to check with the trustees.
Well, we'd also have to check with a couple other things. If that's an open public, it seems to me when they were discussing, they had limited capacity.
Because that has to be pumped out every
Yeah,
so often.
there's a
You
limited
added that?
capacity.
I remember hearing that.
I know it's one that the septic system's gonna be out in the front yard, I believe. Don't take my word for it, I think so. But it has to be pumped out every 30 days or that program
So
that
would
it can't,
change the use.
the usage, right.
Right, okay.
Well, what,
Right.
is that,
Mm.
if we had one, would that be in the town plan? Is that what you mean? Like a
Well,
public restroom or?
right now in our town plan, one of the priorities for action is to explore the possibility of creating a public restroom within Jamaica Village. So,
And what's,
Is that, I'll ask that question for you. Is that suggesting the one we already have is inadequate?
the porta potty?
yeah, I was gonna
Better than
say,
nothing.
the trouble is if we have a public one like that in the library or wherever, which I don't like using those, so I agree with something like that. But then we have to hire somebody to keep it clean. At least these people, they come and clean it and take it away.
As someone who uses those a lot on golf courses, these guys do a fantastic job.
Oh, really? That's
They
nice
do
to
an
hear.
excellent job.
Well,
Best.
not to minimize your request or your idea,
I think,
but I'd like to try to think of somewhere else. And
Yeah.
I can't really, if you use the historical society, they're walking by a lot of
Yeah.
artifacts that might
And that's a
get
small one too.
bothered and come up missing.
right.
They're gonna have a clue where else,
I don't know what we could,
once you build one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have in the plan
Yeah.
for thinking
Right.
about it.
Because we don't have any gas stations anymore.
there's nothing.
Right.
You know, back when there's
And I know
fuel,
Karen's is
they had to
public
have a
because it's
public
not.
restroom, I believe.
And the restaurants aren't public.
Yeah, that's
Right.
probably
Yeah.
true.
We have such a limited area we can actually put sewage.
Yes, that's the other point that I was thinking, is that our town, the village, is really limited in its sewage capacity to
Oh.
even put something up.
How much would a study be to put, like, Main Street town sewerage in?
Well,
There's not enough, I've just heard, the bare minimum, that there's not enough buildings, properties to do that down through town.
Oh.
How much would it cost to pay to have that told to you?
You could always find
Well,
out. I mean,
I know this is part of a bigger conversation that
it is
we'll,
part of the bigger
we
one.
will come back and
Yeah.
have that conversation
That has
later
been
on.
ongoing for years for
Yes.
public water and public
Yeah.
sewer.
If you want to get real exotic, after we're done here, I'll explain how some of the French towns do it.
Been there, done
And
that.
there, you did not do that. I know what you mean, yes.
Oh, in an
But I wouldn't
emergency.
eliminate it from the, because we have to think of the future and hopefully maybe something will come up or,
Okay.
Yeah,
I just,
We need a new gas station.
exploring.
it's a good idea. I know, because kids don't like those.
And this really speaks to the problems you guys in the planning commission have in being creative, because there are some serious restrictions just geographically we have to do.
Yeah.
Can I bring up one more?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. if you have time.
Floor is yours.
Okay, I'm looking on the energy section, and you guys were talking about the new town garage, and I just want to read two of the energy policies in our current town plan. Number 5, encourage the use of solar energy and other renewable resources for residential, commercial, industrial, and public buildings. And then number 10 says, require that future town and school district facilities will be renovated or designed and constructed for maximum energy efficiency. And I just wondered
It
if
is.
you were taking that into
It is.
consideration. Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, the way the roof is slanted,
yeah.
we'll be able to put solar panels.
Wow, that's great.
And we are considering, although not going very quickly, towards the direction of joining in on other solar projects. So you can say we're at least looking at
Right.
those options.
We are.
Yeah.
Really trying.
So we're helpful on number 2. Number 1, we're not so good with.
Right?
Oh, that's okay, I just,
Would that help the town plan if we did go along with that, what we were talking about? You missed what we were talking about earlier about
I did.
a solar proposal.
Yeah, we're looking at joining in other towns in the area with a solar net metering project. We haven't decided to go that way or not, but I think the fact it's in the plan, it's a good idea because there's still, if this doesn't go through, there's still, another 100,000 years ahead of us for you to plan on. So I think it's good to be in there. I'm not sure that this will make much difference one way or the other because this is the future and we're trying to make it work right now.
Yeah, but it's 20, we have to do another plan in the next 20 years.
We'll do 5 every 5
5.
years.
Now it's every 8 years.
Oh,
has
it gone to 8?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Or something
Yeah.
like that.
It used to be every 5.
Well, that just came so fast.
Those
Yeah.
panels would be for 20 years, I think.
Right.
I
I
think-
don't know
yeah.
what she's talking about.
No, I know, but
Right?
it would
The
parlay into the next town plan.
Plan is 8 years. right?
8 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's nice, I'm glad.
Thank you
And once
very
again,
much.
thank you for all the work you guys are doing in the planning commission. I don't think anybody really, thankless, exactly. I don't think anybody really appreciates so much energy and effort you guys put into it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you've been
it's a lot.
the driving force. My commendation to you and your crew.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you very much.
Anything else this evening?
Speaking
We have
of accommodation, I think we as a board need to thank all of the people, particularly Eleanor Katz,
Oh, yeah.
for the work that she did and the different groups that were involved with our Saturday
Craft fair.
fair, craft fair. It
She
was,
did a great job. She
It
really
was.
did. I don't think she realized how
How much.
much it took.
yeah, but
She does now.
a lot of
She did. She
people,
did a wonderful
good,
job.
Yeah,
good people showing their
yeah.
products and things like that, so.
Excellent work, and the town benefited good. All right, we have one last thing. If there's anything else, I have one more possibility. Number 8, there was a possible executive session. So the question is, you don't have to stay for that. You requested
Yes,
and make the motion.
I make a motion that we go into executive session.
Okay, and can you support that motion? I mean, why we have to go into executive session?
Personnel issue.
Who?
Personnel issue.
That was 7:58.
I don't know how to, I don't hear a second.
Oh, second.
Okay, I have something to say about that. That's why I was talking to the VLCT about the executive session meeting, and she told me that if it didn't concern personnel and employee, that this was town policy, and that we could talk about it, that she didn't say we could. She said we can't talk about it in executive session because it's just it's talking about town policy, about how much we pay for a position. It's not personnel,
So what are you saying?
that we don't need to have an executive session. We can discuss it in the open because she made it sound like it's public knowledge.
If we were talking in terms of changing any of our budgeting items, any of our salary items, those kinds of things across the board, it's public. If it's a specific personnel issue about an individual person, that's private.
That's
If we're
right.
talking about contractual issues or
A contractual issue would go into executive session.
for like
This
buildings.
isn't a
yeah.
contract.
Right.
No, or contract with personnel.
Mhm.
This is
We're just-
contract with personnel.
I'm just saying what she told me.
Right, I think this
And,
was,
and if we do go into executive session, I'm going to excuse myself because I don't believe that I'll be part of the legal proceeding, from what I heard from her. I'd be all for it, believe me, because it's, what we're talking about, the person is here. That
Right.
is in the position, but it's not about that person, it's about what that position
Yeah.
pays.
Exactly.
So you want to have that conversation at the
She
meeting?
told me we had to have it
Okay.
for public,
Okay,
for the public to be aware of.
okay.
So I have a motion and a
I was
second.
surprised
Oh,
at
sorry
that.
about that.
I'm sorry.
okay,
So we have a motion to go into executive session, we have a second, we've had discussion, any further discussion? All in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No,
Any abstentions? The noes have it.
So therefore, I can bring this issue up now?
Yes.
Okay. I think that $20 for the minute taker is an insufficient amount of money considering the amount of work that's done. And the number that I would propose would be $35, considering that the minute taking, it runs between an hour and a half, and there's time to prepare the minutes at home and deliver them, correct them. $20 is less than minimum wage for that amount of time.
I'm totally for raising it, but
Well, I'll make the motion to raise the pay for the minute taker to $35 for the evening, for the session, rather.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
I just wonder what everyone else thinks about. That includes the time that the person takes to compile them afterwards,
Right,
right?
right.
Now, what if, sometimes the meeting goes to 9 o'clock, which is, well, not
that's,
that rare.
No,
But-
not that real.
no,
So
that's
that's
30,
just a flat rate for,
right, it's a flat rate.
well, I can tell you one thing, $20 has probably been like that for 20 years, and
Yeah.
It's been like that for a long
I'm
time.
not against raising it in any way. I just don't know how much.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
I think is there a money problem in budgeting this?
Yes, this
So,
will exceed the budget.
yeah, and I don't know how we can do it, because I know Terry had mentioned that would we have to wait for a new budget?
We would have to come up with a way to go over budget. I mean, the budget is fixed, as it has been for a long time.
Right.
But we do go over budget for other issues.
You try not to, as best you
But
can.
we try not to, but we do.
We try not to, right. I talked to Terry again today, and I myself feel that $20, I think, it's not sufficient this time, this day and age, for somebody to come and take the minutes and take them up and get them ready within the 5 calendar days. Send them to the town clerk to get them posted and whatnot. I think we can find the extra, and if we so we've got $500 in the budget now for a minute taker. And if we add, say, $15 more, I'm terrible at math, that would be an extra, what, $300 roughly?
15 times, how many
Yeah.
weeks?
Uh,
If the meetings are split in half.
26,
No, this-
right?
They come out to 26 weeks?
Roughly
Roughly,
26.
yeah.
Yeah.
26.
26,
26 times 15.
15,
Gosh, you know that. No wonder I'm going out of business. $390.
okay, plus the 5.
And we've got a budget
Plus
of
the
500.
500?
Right, plus the
Budgeted
5.
500, so that's a big
That
overspend.
is big, yeah.
7, 8, so it'd be $890 a year.
Can-
I,
Go
Is
ahead,
it
I'm
possible to
interrupt.
split the difference between the 20 and 35 and make it 30?
Come on.
Can I speak to the whole issue, not
Sure.
just the dollar amount?
yep,
April's been gracious enough to give this a try, and say she moved away or didn't want to do it anymore, the fact that it pays a little more may entice another person or the person that's taking them to stay. That's one thing. I think that's a big thing, that someone has to come out in the night, twice a month, for $20. And it's gonna take them more than, plus their time to get here and get home. I got no problem. If there's a big problem coming up with the money, I believe we can do it somehow.
We can do it. We figured it out.
I believe that we should bring it up to 35 then, just for that sole reason that I just tried to.
Right, and this way, otherwise, like you say, if April doesn't
That's a lot of
want it or she
responsibility.
moves, it took a long time to find somebody to take Pam's place.
And we'll help you. You know, I may at a meeting ask you to read something back just because half the time I don't know what the motion was, but if you're reading it back and it's what we're saying, then
But I think
'Cause it's hard to-
35 is a fair.
Having said that, I would point out that we're not talking about April.
no, I just used you for an example, I'm
Which you're
sorry.
doing
Right, we're
it's the
talking
position
about the
itself.
salary.
It could be, you know,
Yeah. We would be
Joe
helpful to
Smith there.
anybody.
We'd be out of order if we were talking about you
yeah,
personally.
it's the position we're talking about.
Yeah. What about, where will we get that from? Do you have any idea?
I don't have any idea right now. Terry's she's checked some
Uh-huh.
items out that she's gonna look at, some items, areas where she can take the money from, and it'll be fine.
Part of the difficulty we have with this particular process is the precedents we're setting. We have a budgeting process. We do the best we can to maintain a fairly austere budget for the taxpayers. We try not to
Right.
do anything in excess of what we need
And
to
some of the
do
things
to get
we-
the job done.
Some of these,
So thank you, ma'am.
I'll forget.
With your permission, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I know you'll forget, go ahead.
I'm already.
That's how I like it. The point is, not talking about current. The idea that we're going to be changing these things in the middle of a session because we didn't do it correctly the first time, or we didn't have this process in our heads. We have to be pretty careful about that, because we do have to consider the precedents we're setting. Having said that, the point being made about the fact that this $20 has been going on since Methuselah may be germane to making an exception, a very clear exception, and a very heavily underlined exception, not a precedence-setting exception, just an exception.
I don't think it is precedent setting.
Let's make that.
I think it's an oversight of
Ah.
when we're doing the budget.
We're correcting
That no
oversight.
one puts ourselves in their place because we had the position filled and never thought of
Right,
it being a hardship on the, or
not a hardship,
deserving
but just a
more,
fair
better
amount of money to
compensation.
pay them.
Judy wanted to know if you could split the difference and make it 30 instead of 35. Would that make that much difference
No,
to the budget?
no, because there's some budget items that are gone under, so we can take some of that money, the budgets that we haven't spent a lot on, and shift it around a little bit.
So we're adding $350 to the budget. Is that your math?
No, we're not gonna add it to it right now.
No, I'm
Only-
saying we're going to pull 350 out of someplace else.
Right. I think it'll be fine.
So the motion now is,
To raise the salary for the minute taker to 300 tips, I'm sorry, to $35 per session.
Okay, a flat fee of $35.
and we have a second on that, I believe. Did you not
I
second
think
it?
I did.
I think you did. So any further discussion?
Just that that's not I'm not asking the motion maker, but that's per set of minutes.
Right, it's a flat rate.
Per set of
each-
Yeah,
minutes.
for the procession.
Yeah,
Right, for each,
Per set of
Session.
minutes.
The
Right.
whole shebang.
not per hour.
Yeah,
right,
Per session flat.
procession.
that's
Gotcha.
right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And, yes,
We used to go down
But
and ask
he's
if
done-
anybody had anything, if you're
Right,
done
but
with
he's done it
it.
in the beginning.
Oh,
I moved that up to, what, you have something, feel free.
well, just as health officer, I serve as your health officer, and
With distinction, I might point out.
that too, I guess, but What makes me bring this up more, and I don't say enough about it, is with Green Up Day, we got bulletins from the state about, being careful of picking things up, and there is a huge increase in needles on the sides of the roads, the main thoroughways, the back roads. And there's information from the Department of Health on the website, but I'll tell you, especially if you're a kid or you've got kids, don't pick them up. And there's information on the website, it's posted in the town hall, in the town clerk's office, and up at the transfer station on how to handle that. Gives you a procedure of how to pick those up. Because kids are picking them up and playing with them.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is scary.
Other than that, I haven't heard how Green Up Day went, but I'm sure it was pretty busy. I
I
haven't
know the
talked to
guys,
Dan or anything, but
the guys went around and picked up what was on the, people left it in front of their houses and stuff like that.
He did
Picked
tell
up a
me-
lot.
Excuse me. He did tell me that he got bags
right.
on Saturday, so obviously there was some of that happening.
Another thing that went along with that warning was there's a huge population explosion with ticks. And to
Yes.
just really keep your eye on, check your kids out, check each
Everybody.
other out head to toe.
Yeah.
And there's a new tick that's coming into Vermont that is really making, or can really make you ill. It's very hard to recover from it.
I heard that on the news tonight, I think. It was-
But that's also posted in the two places.
Yeah,
There has been a lot of press about the new.
yeah.
Where are those two places that information is posted?
At the town clerk's office, on the Vermont Department of Health website, and at the transfer station in Jamaica.
So everybody stay in the house.
If you have
It really
pets,
tells you
it may come
about
in.
wearing dark clothing helps and keeping
Yeah.
covered, and
Tuck your pants in your socks.
it's already started, they're all over around where I live.
Are they really? Yeah. I've been out raking a lot too, so.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one thing.
Yes.
Transfer station. We have, as you know, postponed working on deciding who will be doing our recycling. And I have Bob Spencer, who is going to be here at our 22nd of May meeting. And he's going to come in the capacity of a consultant to help us make the decision on the different RFQs that we had and what we should be looking for. So hopefully we're going to be able to make a decision after he talks with us. The second thing is
Before you go, Bob
Go ahead.
Spence is from,
he is Wyndham Solid Waste
Right.
Executive Director.
okay, thank you.
Okay. The second thing is, there will be information posted at the transfer station about the new things around where to take light bulbs and where to take the different hazardous wastes. So that actually is coming tomorrow. And the second thing in that area is that we will be having a meeting probably at the town hall sometime before July 1st for the town people to come in and ask questions. We're having Kristen Benoit come in from Wyndham Solid Waste. And she will be talking about what goes into the new organic compost area and what won't go. So I'm hoping that people will really come out and I'll have posters around and dates and when that is actually set, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I saw Bob Spencer, a guest on the last Vernon Select Board meeting,
Oh, did you?
doing just what you're
Ah,
presenting
good.
to us.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing from her.
Yeah, I have my first meeting this Thursday as the representative to the Wyndham Solid Waste from
Good.
Jamaica.
Excellent. Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I hear a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussions? All in favor of adjourning at 8:15? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.